Let's bring him in now. The pride of Pictou, Nova Scotia, Ken Reid, who has not had a haircut in a while. How you doing, Kenny?
No. Yeah, it's illegal to get a haircut here still. Another 4 weeks, I've been told. So this mop's a little greasy. I'm trying to get the mullet thing going in the back. I'm working on that heavy. And I have warned my wife that this summer, at some point, I'm going to go in and get it professionally cut and really thinned out and wear a mullet for a week. I want to do it for a week.
I think it would be amazing. I've asked for one, and my barber said no. She's more of a stylist. Really? She's like, how about no? Hard no. So
I think if I grow one well enough, I might get a tryout on the 1991 Regina Pats. Because that was the WHL passport, wasn't it, back then? Everybody had one.
Little more late 80s, yeah, Kenny. But hey, listen, take me inside Sportsnet and you Big Shot Network, folks. I thought they would bring somebody in with the clippers and a cape, and they'd do you guys' hair right in there.
We are not Steven Seagal. We are not above the law, right? So the flow is going to go, and the flow is going to grow. So they have the makeup artists. The makeup artists are all, masked up and stuff. But for the guys, we just do our own makeup because you know what it's like, Rod, as a guy. You just basically, you just cover your face with the makeup. It's pretty easy. The ladies, they take a little longer. So our makeup artist, Nadine, who we love, she came back about a month ago. So it's great to see Nadine back. It's weird, right? Because at work, Nadine, we see her every day, and then we didn't see her for a year and a half. So it's
so weird.
Times.
I know, it's still strange. So on the Montreal thing, I love my Habs fans, friends. I love them, but they're becoming a little annoying. Growing up in Nova Scotia, were you a Habs fan?
Grew up a massive Habs fan. Every game, every Saturday night, I'd wear my hat, my jogging pants, my jersey. In fact, 1993, when they played in the final against LA, my good buddy Sandy Mackay called me 2-3 days before game one. He said, let's go to game one. So me and Sandy and about 4 other guys hopped in Sandy's Dodge Caravan. We drove 13 hours straight to Montreal, bought scalper tickets for game one of the final against the Kings. And believe it or not, scalper tickets to game one cost us $100 a piece. So different time.
Different era, different time, different era. Yeah. So how are you feeling now with them halfway to the first cup since 1993?
Yeah, well, to be honest, now I'm kind of a fan of the game. And I know we all say that in the media, but it's true. And you were saying you root for guys from Saski, you root for friends. No different for me. I guess if I'm looking at Team Nova Scotia, it would be the Colorado Avalanche. But I have to admit, this run, it's just so reminiscent to 93 because your superstar's your goalie, right? And I think it was John LeClaire that said, that they won the 10 games in overtime. It's like, well, all we have to do is score because Patrick's not going to give one up in overtime. And I'm getting that same vibe from Carey Price. And the vibe post-game from Carey Price was basically last night was, we haven't done anything yet. He was just short answers, so focused. Even when they won, if you saw his reaction, we showed on the broadcast, he was just picked up his water bottle, a couple hugs. He wasn't pumping his fists and skating down the ice. He's just so calm. What I would give to have Carey Price's heart rate, I think it'd serve well for Health Canada. The guy is just so cool. And, he's been to the semis before. So, I guess in his mind, he hasn't accomplished anything yet. And I think that's what you want. Enjoy the moment, but in truth, if he played for the Leafs, they'd probably make a DVD at this point, right? If he won 2 rounds. Do they still make DVDs?
How about that?
But, yeah. So, they haven't accomplished anything yet, but it's cool to watch. It's very, very, it's got a big 1993 vibe to it for sure.
Oh, it does. By the way, from Corey watching in Tallahassee, Florida, says Rod wore makeup on radio for years. How about that? I didn't wear it then, didn't wear it now, but they're urging me to.
You're guess not wearing makeup right now?
No, I'm just naturally beautiful, if you can believe. Yeah.
Oh, you are. Well, I got a lot of stuff to cover up, so.
Yeah, right. But I understand your take, and I know Kyle Brandt is your guy, so I'm not making any overtures or anything. But
yes, that's right. Yeah.
Right. Have you talked to him lately? By the way.
I haven't talked to my football bromance lately. Sometimes we'll text each other, or not lately. But that guy and I don't know what happened. But when they matched us up the first time together, they said, you and Kyle are going to jive because you're on the same wavelength. We're both pop culture guys. We're both 80s guys. We're the same age. I think we both look at sports in the same way in that it's serious at time, but you actually pick up a football and you pick up a baseball and you whack a puck around as a kid for this thing. What's it called? Oh, yeah, to have fun. So sports is supposed to be fun. Kyle sees it that way. It does get serious as you get older, but I think for most sports fans, they just want to have fun and be entertained. They don't care about Corsi and Fenwick and advanced stats, and that's fine for those who do. But I always say sports matters when my mom talks to me about it. If my mom calls and she says, "What about the Montreal Canadiens, Kenny?" Then I'll know. When she calls me, she says, "Oh my, the Blue Jays." Then I know it's resonating. So that's kind of how I approach sports.
Oh, it's a great gauge. Absolutely. Your family, your friends. No, I couldn't agree more. Kyle Brandt, by the way, who we're talking about, is from NFL Network, and as I recall, a former soap opera star. But just on the I've read his Wikipedia. On the CP31 thing, though, he deserves a Stanley Cup before he's done. He's a good Western Canadian kid. And I was telling somebody the other day about Grant Fuhr when I got to spend some time with him last year and just realized, same thing. Nothing bothers these guys. What you said, the heart rate, right? I think that's prerequisite for that job, Ken.
It has to be. If you're a goalie and you freak out, my son wants to be a goalie, and he went nuts every time the Leafs got scored against in the playoffs. And I said, son, if you want to be a goalie, you're going to get scored on. It's not about the puck that went in, it's about the next one. But I mean, what amazes me about a guy like Fuhr, a guy like Price, is they are so cool and calm. Then a guy like Billy Smith, he was just pumped the whole game, and he won 4 cups in a row. So I guess both approaches work, right? It's just
absolutely.
I guess I'll go back to Audio Slave. To be yourself is all that you can do. But I don't recall Billy Smith going haywire anytime he got scored upon. I recall him going haywire anytime a guy came near him. But I think once that puck goes in, it's done. You can't do anything about it. So just control the next one.
Well, you say that, and I'm thinking also of Roy as a Habs fan who runs hotter than Patty, the King, and Hextall. So, yeah, there's a lot of ways to skin a cat. Jordan Ewart, watching on YouTube, says, Ken, you would be a great permanent addition to Tim and Friends. I got to be honest, I'm really enjoying the show a lot, and I got my buddies on there. Borny was on there yesterday, I think.
Borny,
yeah, it's been fun the way they've been rotating it. Is that they're going to continue to do that?
Yeah, as far as I know, I mean, I'm Mr. Wednesday, so until they tell me otherwise, and like I say to Tim, they're not paying me to be here, so as far as I'm concerned, I can do whatever the hell I want. So I'm Wednesday for now.
Yeah, it works. I'm enjoying just the variety of opinions and so forth. We're talking about Tim and Friends late afternoons for us out here in Western Canada on Sportsnet Radio. Hey, Blue Jays. You know how big they are in Western Canada. I think you know how big they are. People are really talking about them a lot. But Arash was on here yesterday and felt expectations are too high. In that, maybe when the manager makes a decision people don't like, people are going nuts. When there's an error, people are going nuts. Where are you on this year's Blue Jays and what we should expect out of them?
Some people are going nuts, man. People should go nuts. I mean, you have all this young talent. Don't waste it. Don't waste what Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is doing. Get him some pitching. Somehow get some pitching. If you're the manager, make the right decisions. That thing with Tyler Chatwood a week ago Sunday, that was a disgrace. I mean, if you're leaving a guy in, if it was to prove a point, there are better ways to prove a point than to cost the 24 other guys in uniform a game. Okay? I think there's better ways to do that. I think the bullpen was lights out. Lights out the first month. I think the overwork caught up with them. The injuries are crazy, but there's injuries all over the game of baseball. My opinion is go for it. You have this young talent. Was it Ken Holland who was pretty balanced with the Oilers this year and kind of said you can't go for it every year? I disagree with that. If you have a Connor McDavid, you go for it. If you're in Pittsburgh and they have Sidney Crosby, they go for it every year. If I'm the Blue Jays and I've got Vladimir Guerrero leading pretty much every offensive category in the American League, if not the bigs, and you've got young talent like Bo Bichette, you've got a Marcus Semien, you got Teoscar Hernandez, you got Lourdes Gurriel Jr., you got some offense. You get some pitching and you go for it. Now, the best thing is when they went on the run a few years back, they picked up David Price at the deadline, and they made some other acquisitions, and they got hot the last couple of months. So if they stay in the hunt, pick up some arms and go for it, man. And I know that's easier said than done, but there's a reason why you stock your prospects, so you can trade them for proven major league talent. So they're young guys that they stocked up on. They're in the bigs now. So if you got other guys down there, make a move. I Like, I mean, I don't know about you, Rod, but I hate when I hear about Alex Manoah going in. Is there a pitch count on him tonight? Yeah, well, I'm like, let the kid throw the ball, right? They got all this sports science, and they brag about these advanced metrics and everything they got. Well, as many people are getting hurt now as they did in 1968 off this stuff. Just in 1968, when you ripped your shoulder out, you just went away and nobody knew about it. He's 23 years old. Let the kid throw the ball. Go for it. So I guess I'd be the opposite of my Nova Scotia brother, Arash Bidet.
Jen's watching at the Four Seasons. She says the key word is young. But, you know, I'll say this, Ken, I think might be my last question or comment to you, but for an anchor, I love that you're not afraid to let it rock. I remember when you went off on the Rays skipper in the World Series last year, going by analytics. Remember that?
Yeah.
And now this, with Charlie Montoyo, because what he said after leaving the kid in was, we just won 5 of our last 6. Basically is what he said, right? It was a throwaway inning. And
I hate that baseball philosophy of, it's why aren't we talking about the previous 2 that we won? Because you just lost that one. Like this whole baseball thing that, it's a loss, it doesn't matter. Last I saw, Rod, everything adds up, right? So if you win 82 games, if you win one more, that's 83, and 83 is better than 82. So that's as far as I go with analytics.
Well, what was the reaction to that comment? Because it struck me a little odd that Charlie Montoyo would say that. How did it go over in Toronto?
Pretty much the way it's going over. Ken Pucks and Deep Read, I like that. Pretty much the way it's going over here. I mean, you look Arash, and some people were cool with it, and then other guys like me were not cool with it. I admire. We've talked about Carey Price's resting heart rate. What's the resting heart rate of a major league manager? Oh my God, they can't even come out and freak out at the umps anymore because of instant replay. So I admire that it's 162, that it's a long way. It's win every 6 of 10, but I don't think that means you throw away one. So the reaction was pretty split. I mean, you had guys like me going Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, crazy on it, and you had other guys that were like, it's a process, let it play out. But I think there's a big difference in Blue Jays fandom between what the media preaches and what the fan base preaches. And I find the Blue Jays media is very, it's a long season, just relax, everybody. They're very much kind of on board with the team preaches. And the fans are kind of going, you know what? We had that 15-16 run. That was fantastic. We haven't won anything since 93. Do you really want to preach patience to us? And how come the Red Sox every year I hear the Red Sox are better than expected? Because they are. They go for it. You're in a division with the Yankees and the Red Sox, and you want to preach patience to me? No. Go for it. And now you see the fruits of this patience, like the fruits of your labor of 5 years from Shapiro and Atkins saying, stay the course. Okay, that's cool. Everybody did. So now that time's up. But now you're still having some people say, well, stay patient. No. Let's go. It's time.
We got 45 seconds, they tell me. How are book sales, Ken?
Oh, they're flying off the shelves. I tell you, my house I'm thinking of getting a bigger house. If you want to get rich, Rod, I'll tell you right now, get into Canadian publishing. No, they're fine. I'm flattered that anybody buys my books. I can never be a weather presenter. See, I was going to say that's my latest one. But that's my latest one to remember beside John Garrett and my Pictou Mariners banner. It's sold well, but if you'd like to pick it up, it's about guys who scored a single goal in the NHL. It's cool stories. But I love doing my books because I love talking to players and I love getting stories out of them. And then I'm lucky that I get to call them, and we're lucky, Rod, because we get to call people and bug them. But if we stop these athletes on the streets, they kind of be like, okay, that's enough time. But guys in our position, we can call them, and hockey players are really generous with their time. So book sales have been nice, and I'm flattered. And thanks to anyone who's ever bought one of my books.
Available at all bookstores. And by the way, yes, it's one of the greatest parts of our job. And it's funny you said John Garrett, because I'm looking over your shoulder, Kenny. I'm a big fan of the era and the jersey. So I couldn't tell from here if it was Richard Brodeur, Glenn Hanlon, John Garrett, or any one of those Vancouver goalies that wore that jersey. So thanks for clarifying.
That's Cheech going into the 2-pad stack right before a hot dog falls out of his right pad. You know that story, right?
Oh,
Cheech
absolutely.
Hot dogs down his
of
pads.
Course. Ken, keep it up. We're watching very closely, my man. Always appreciate the time.
Thanks, Rod. Appreciate it, buddy. Love what you do.
Thank you, pal. Sportsnet anchor Ken Reid joining us from the T-Dot.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.